So our final review of the day is going to be for the film Alien versus Predator. Alien versus Predator is a movie that came out in 2004. There is directed and written by Paul W.S. Anderson. There, people might know the work of Paul W.S. Anderson.
There Will Be
He
Blood and, One Battle After Another most recently.
Yeah, he's the guy that get mixed up with the other great director, yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson. It's like, yeah, he's that guy, right? But no, he's the guy that did Mortal Kombat movie, 1995. He's known for doing the Resident Evil movies there.
The Mortal Kombat's his best work, if I'm being honest.
Looking at this resume and all the things, maybe you probably are right there. He did the Three Musketeers in 2011. He did Death Race with Jason Statham is also something he's known for. But yeah, he's mostly known, I think, for doing the Resident Evil movies with his wife, Mila Jovovich there. I don't know. Are they still together? I think they're still together. I think maybe.
Maybe that's why she isn't in as many movies anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the last movie I seen Mila Jovovich in was, did she do that movie with Dave Bautista or something shit like that? I think, I don't know. That movie that came out, I can't remember the name.
Gosh, I'm not even sure.
In the Lost Lands, that's what it was called.
I don't think I've even heard of that.
Yeah, which coincidentally enough, her husband also directed that movie. So it's like the evil version of Mike Flanagan and his wife when they do stuff together. It's like, oh shit, okay. When they're in something together, it's gonna be terrible. As opposed to the other one. But what is happening in this Alien versus Predator movie here? The clash.
Ancient aliens.
Yeah, ancient aliens there. The clash of these two titans. I was trying to think of a comparison, like who is this for? Like who was Freddy versus Jason for, and who is Alien versus Predator
I think
for?
Freddy versus Jason is for fans of the movie Alien versus Predator, and Alien versus Predator is for people who are fans of the movie Jason versus Freddy.
Yeah, just like, hey, I just want to see my favorite horror people fight each other. And
I will say, in the 90s, there were a whole bunch of like comic books and stuff, and video games even that did this concept way before there were ever movies. And some of those comic books in particular did actually tie the mythoses together and do some interesting like actual storytelling. This feels like it's more based on the video game than it is on the comic books, but
yeah. And I think the first crossover with Alien the movies was, I think it was maybe the Danny Glover film in Predator 2.
Yep.
Where he's on the alien, he's on the Predator spaceship, and then he sees all of these skeletons, and then he sees one of them is the skeleton of the xenomorph. I think that was kind of the first reference there.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't notice that at the time because they were so distracted that because the Predator was giving Danny Glover a John Wilkes Booth's gun. But
yeah, the Predator's been in every pivotal moment in there. It's like Michael Bay Transformers movies. Transformers been in every pivotal moment in history. But yeah, that was kind of one of the first times there. And then it took many years later for them to do this in 2004 there with this Alien versus Predator, this official crossover movie there. And what's happening here, like you said, Ancient Aliens is kind of going on here. So you have these team of like archaeologists there who are going to Antarctica to discover there they say like, hey, we found something, we're going to research it, study it, because that's what, of course, a lot of the stuff begins with, and sometimes in these movies there. And
you know what's really funny about that setup?
What?
It's the same setup as Prometheus, except they actually think about it just a little bit more in this compared to that.
Yeah, and actually in this, yeah, because that's typically the story of a lot of these aliens. They're always going to some place, like even in Covenant, they go to some place to terraform it, and then to do that, so it makes sure it's good for people to come and do that. So a lot of these people do expeditions or going to other places. And while these scientists are led by Shania Lathan's character there, who's Alexa Woods there, who's the one kind of leading this group. And the one who's funding this is now this is where it gets kind of confusing amongst among the other things in this, and the alien lore, Predator lore there, is that you have a character who's called Mr. Weyland, who people know of Weyland Eutonics, the people that own the alien ship there, who the big business people there in the alien universe. But here is played by Lance Henriksen, who also was Charles Bishop, who's the android in the Aliens film. But here he's playing Charles Bishop Weyland, who's
I don't know how long it's been since you've seen Alien 3, but at the end of
I've
that
never seen
film,
Alien 3.
oh, okay. Well, just it's mild spoilers for Alien 3, but at the end of that film, Wayland, the current living Wayland in that film shows up, and it is that actor. And they in the dialogue they do make a point of saying like, well, of course this narcissistic billionaire CEO would like make one of the models of Android, like one of the lines of Android models, like just off of himself. So that's something that Alien 3 kind of floats around. But
Okay.
then it's also weird that his ancestor from like what 5 or 6 generations ago would
Because this
look
takes place in
identical to him.
the actual year that the movie comes out,
Yeah,
which is '04. So this takes,
yeah,
even though that doesn't really make a lot of sense because they reference in like Aliens that this is the first time humanity has ever encountered these creatures
right.
or something
They've
like
been
that.
under Antarctica the whole time. Ripley
Maybe
trying to stop them from getting to Earth. That didn't even matter. They're in Antarctica.
yeah, this was lost lore apparently, I guess, because all the way in '04, yeah, like nobody believed this one survivor of this incident. Nobody believed her.
I
Um,
mean, she may not have gotten home, to be fair,
yeah,
just based
maybe. I
on the way
mean,
it ends.
and she didn't have a ride to take her back. And apparently her character, I don't know if maybe you know this because I don't know if you've read any of the Alien versus Predator books there, but it seems like her character is based on somebody from that comic. Is yeah.
I do know that, but it's so loosely based on that that I can't even be certain what character it's based on.
And this character called Monchicho Nuguchi.
Okay,
There.
yeah, I didn't remember that.
So this is the let
I
me
read a
see.
lot of these comics when I was like 7, 8 in like the early 2000s, and I haven't really touched them since. But
So this was the characters is I guess what they're supposed to look like. I guess she had the Harry Potter lightning bolt before he did, I guess.
damn,
Based on when this comic came out.
she's also got
Uh
some straight up Barbarella Xena armor there.
yeah. So I guess she became friends with the Predator, and I guess she's one of the people that I guess yeah, they treat her as one of her own, I guess. But yeah, based on that character from the comic series there, so she leads the expedition to Antarctica, and then of course that's where they come in contact with the Predator. And they realize they're in between this rivalry between the Predator and the alien. It's kind of what you got to get the xenomorph.
And then the one other element that I thought was funny, and I definitely have forgotten because I haven't seen this in so long, but there's also just like a big element of what was that movie just called Cube, where they're just like stuck inside of the giant cube going from room to room, and then it's like shifting and moving and like with different traps.
Oh
Do you know
yeah,
what movie?
yeah.
Because this is also doing that in a large portion of it.
Yeah, because it's yeah, pretty much, yeah, you see that, yeah, because you see there's like a zoom out shot, which kind of resembled a little bit of like actually from his movie Resident Evil, where they do that, where they're in the
Mhm.
first one, where they kind of do like this shot of like all the different rooms and everything like that that people are kind of stuck in. Actually, kind of gets it from that there. But yeah, so that's kind of the setup that you have of this movie, and this movie is PG-13. You do have
Yep.
that, and the upcoming Predator Badlands movie, which is why we're reviewing Alien versus Predator, is also PG-13. With that, does that kind of give you any worry there that the Predator Badlands is going to be PG-13 at all, or
No, and the reason why is because Return of the King is PG-13.
mm,
I think it is. It is. There is a certain level of violence that you can totally get away with if the blood isn't the color red. And like if the most of the things being like cut up and killed are creatures with green blood or blue blood or black blood or whatever. And I think, I mean, who knows? We'll see when the movie comes out, but based on how the creator directors and stuff have talked about it, it sounds like they still made it super violent. It's just that it's aliens fighting other alien creatures, and so it's not human red blood or human limbs being dismembered. So I don't think the movie's necessarily going to be less violent. It's just there's just a weird inconsistent rule about what kind of things you can be violent towards in films.
mm, yeah, which I'm early reactions say it's pretty good, but you don't know how that goes. Early
Right.
reactions,
Early
um,
reactions to the Suicide Squad, the 2016 movie, were really good, and Batman versus Superman and Justice League. All of them had great early reactions. So
yeah.
that's proof enough you can never trust that.
So what are your thoughts, man? Alien versus Predator.
Man, I felt like I was watching a long episode of Ancient Aliens. And it's funny too because there's like even kind of like actually watching Ancient Aliens. There are these like whole stretches of the movie, and I felt like it wasn't just at the beginning too. This is like throughout the entire film, like into the second act and even the third act a little bit. But like characters will stop and look at like one symbol on the wall and go like, "Oh, I just realized," and then 5 minutes of exposition. And like they'll just look at it like a one cave painting and be like, "Oh, well, this means all of these things," and they very easily and kind of lazily start explaining things that like you shouldn't have been able to put that together. But also, what you're telling me is crazy, and it is just this weird sort of like what I've always said is if you want to make this crossover like work and be like really good, you need to have the Predators come to meet aliens where Alien is. Like bring Predator to the fully sci-fi setting, to the at least with the potential of it being a little smarter. This movie goes the complete opposite direction and says, let's take the Alien and meet it where Predator is, as and make it just a completely schlocky monster movie. Now that being said, I think there are some beats of action that are kind of fun in this, like just silly schlocky action. But some of it's like as far as just camera work and like monsters killing each other. Some of it's, I think, some of that's all right. In terms of like characters, though, I mean, I wouldn't even say this movie has characters. This movie just has archetypes.
Mm. I mean, you could already point out all the people that are gonna make it, gonna not make it, pretty much just from seeing it open in there. Some characters that you have, so you have Sebastian Del Rose, who's played by Raul Bovia.
And
So
he's an exposition machine.
exposition machine, and he's able to, within I guess a few hours, able to decipher the whole history of the alien and the xenomorphs and the predator, their whole conflict there.
Yeah. Well, and
And
in
he
hindsight, based on future Predator movies, we know that he just must have autism because that is what allows you to read alien languages.
Yeah, like in Sean Black's, yeah, the Predator there, you're able to decipher a whole alien language in one day. You can even learn languages that have been on Earth forever in one day, but he's able to do it with an alien language. Okay. So his ability is he's there because he's the translator. I guess he's able to do that.
A
That's
damn
like
good
his,
one, I guess.
yeah, very damn. I mean, they got their money's worth with that guy. They got the best of the best with him. And so he's able to decipher that. Um, of course, you have the billionaire person we mentioned, Wayland, who always is like you have the person who's financing it. For some reason, in these movies, you always have the person who's financing it always wants to come along for the ride,
Right.
also,
Because
and
he's
then
always dying.
he's always dying there. This was even before because like they also did this again
In
in
Prometheus.
Prometheus. They with
In
Guy
fact, I'm
Ritchie.
starting to think Prometheus ripped off Alien versus Predator.
Maybe they owe some writing credits to Alien versus Predator because they also did this in Prometheus,
I mean, I
where
won't
he's
lie. I think Prometheus is a worse written movie.
really okay. Damn.
Yes.
And I think he's dying. He's got like, do they ever say, or does he just have like a bad cough or something? I don't
He
know if it's,
just coughs a lot, and they're like, "Oh, you're not going to make it, are you?" He's like, "Oh, my
yeah,
doctor said the worst is behind me."
yeah. He's got something. He's got sick guy movie disease. That's what he's got.
Sick guy. What was that fictional disease in Batman and Robin that they just made up that like was not like a real disease?
Oh, I can't remember now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just some dumb bullshit movie disease.
Yeah, like that's how you know, because that's always a sign. Anytime anybody's coughing in a movie, that's oh, this person's gonna, they're sick, they're dying. So he's there. Then you also have a character there who's this engineer, and he's like his whole thing is he's got a family, and he always is taking like he wants to do like a little short movie for his family, and he's asked people taking photos of him and everything like that. Then you got to have like the muscle of the group there a little bit, which it seems like it's that actor, the Irish actor. He's got like
Mm,
he's famous for having like the scars on his face. He was also in Sons of Anarchy as well. Tommy Flanagan.
okay.
And he plays a Mark Vernay. I forgot exactly what his character does there. Let me
Not a
see
lot.
there. Like he's kind of like it seems like kind of like I said, muscle. He's like the arm
Well,
muscle of the
and we
team
know
there.
that muscle doesn't really matter in a movie with predators in it.
Yeah, like the guy who's good with guns there, it's like that doesn't really matter, but it all kind of goes to shit anyway because
Right.
I mean, he loses his shit when the xenomorph comes anyway, so it's kind of like yeah, which I mean, I'm not saying you would lose your shit, but there, and then also you have this other woman who's also like his kind of assistant muscle there
Is
with this.
she the one that has the "I'd rather have a gun and not need it than need a gun and not have it" line?
Yeah, she's the
Yeah,
one like that looks like an NSYNC member. She's kind of like
yeah,
that.
the painfully 2000s haircut.
Yeah, she's kinda got that look to her. So yeah, that's kind of the setup there that you have of the team there. And also there's a Salmon who always shows up in like the most terrible movies. Like anytime you see him, he's like Mila Jovovich. Like anytime you see him, he's always there. He was in a lot of the Resident Evil movies, also, and then he was also in James Bond. He played a recurring character in the James Bond movies too,
Hmm,
if you remember him.
I
Uh,
don't, but
he was his character was Charles Robinson, if you
hmm,
remember that character. I remember his character. He was like, I think in the Brosnan Bond movies,
okay.
if I'm
It's been a
mistaken.
while since I've watched those ones.
Yeah. He was in Arrow. He was in that TV show too. He was in Arrow.
Well, I mean, just add on the worst piles of shit possible to your credit list, I guess.
He was in that. He got a good check for that one. But yeah, so that's the team you got that assembled. Really, nobody you really care about all that much. I mean, I care about maybe Shania Lathan. That's about it.
I mean, she
Maybe
does
because
kind of earn a Predator's respect at one point, so
yeah, eventually she does team up with the Predator, which is a great moment here.
if I was her, I'd be kind of pissed though because she doesn't get one of John Wilkes Booth's guns,
Yeah. Well, at least she gets to say the line from Arnold Schwarzenegger. She got that going.
right?
Which of course, like all in these movies, you got to repeat lines from the other
You
movies.
gotta
So it's
have some
always
member berries in there somewhere.
gotta have that.
Funny enough,
Which is
though, this has less member berries than Alien Romulus does.
that's I couldn't think of like I know that reference that she had where she calls it ugly, like you ugly
Right.
motherfucker. She calls it that. What were the other like big references? I'm trying to think.
Um, there's I mean, one of those scenes where they're going through like the pyramid, kind of the beginning of them walking through it. They go into like the room where like they have like the sacrificial chambers, um, lined up in like a circle, and that's like clearly like a visual reference to the cryopods in the Alien films and the way they're kind of arranged in like a big circular room. So that was definitely one visual reference, but I don't think, I mean, other than just the creatures themselves being obvious references, I don't feel like it constantly stops to be like, remember this line of dialogue or remember that line. Like it does it the once near the end, but it's actually less shameless about it than Romulus was, which
Yeah.
I think is kind of hilarious.
Yeah. Do you think that this movie, I mean, I don't know if you think this also the same thing about Freddy versus Jason, but do you think it does pay off in we get to see the Xenomorph versus the Predator? You think it does make good on that?
Uh, I don't think it does a terrible job of just depicting them fighting each other. Like it's it's not like terrible action necessarily. Um, I think there are a couple of shots that are memorable near the end. There's the one shot where it's the queen, um, and then it's like in the corner behind it, you see the predator do like a superhero jump and do like a spin in the air with like the double sided sword that's kind of cool looking. There's a couple shots like that. Um, would I say that it like nailed it and made it like super awesome? No, not that either. It's somewhere in the middle. I think it's like if like as a schlocky, not that good, but like action movie that you can watch that's entertaining but isn't like it's not great or terrible. I think it does a serviceable job of that.
Mm. Do you think Freddy versus Jason paid it off better?
I
Like,
think that's worse. I think that's a worse movie.
yeah. Who would be the Freddy and who would be the Jason here? I guess would Freddy be the Predator and then Jason would be the Xenomorph?
Yeah, because they're sneaky. They're more sneaky.
Yeah. Cause like, I mean, Jason is just a more pure force of nature, kind of like the xenomorph there. And we talked about this when we discussed Alien Earth. It's just like I don't know the level of intellect that the xenomorph has, because the way they kind of do it in Alien Earth, they're more just animals, kind
Yeah.
of animalistic, and then
That's super inconsistent across the whole franchise. In Alien Resurrection, the xenomorphs are like rubbing their hands together and going and like laughing at like their evil plots. So, I mean, it movie to movie, it's never been super consistent.
yeah, I mean, in one movie, I mean, they did show tunes. I mean, one had a top hat and
There you
everything
go.
and dance. So it must be some level of good intelligence with the xenomorph there. And then with the predator in this, I mean, like I said, more has knowledge, I guess, of obviously weaponry and everything like this. So
But
it
not
has
horror tropes
not horror tropes
because
there.
they
You don't
don't look
see the.
behind them.
I mean, can they even? I mean, what's their turn radius? Because they got all that gear on, plus they got the hair, plus they got the helmet. I mean, I don't know
It's
exactly
true.
what
I
their
mean,
turn
I
radius is.
feel like with all the tech they have, they should have little like mirrors like in the sides of like the eye slots on their masks. They should be able to see their peripheral vision.
Or something like in cars, like a rear view camera. They should have something like that
There
kinda
you go.
going on in cars there. Um, but I think for the most part, I think, yeah, I mean, if you purely came to see these 2 things fight each other, I think it does pay off on that, like,
It's
of
the
just seeing.
definition of like a B movie.
Yeah, like, if that's what you really wanted to come see and that was all you really wanted to see is, like, fuck the story, fuck everything else, I think it does a decent job at that, I think, for the most part of that, and then as you mentioned, there's some good action sequences in here. You get to see xenomorph kill the predator, you get to see the predator kill the xenomorph there and use his weapons on it, so you got that kinda going
And
on.
I want to say, I think this is only the second movie in the whole franchise to actually have a queen on screen
Really?
because they're introduced in two. I know three doesn't have one. I know four doesn't have one. Cut Prometheus, Covenant, Romulus, and none of those. So I think this might be. I think it might just be these two movies, the two and then this that actually show like a queen and have like a puppet on screen and stuff.
Mm, yeah, and what do you think about the actual effects of, like, the xenomorph here then?
Some of the when it's CG, it you could tell it looks messy and like an old effect. But when it's practical and it's just like a puppet, like some of these shots, I think some of these shots actually look fine. Just when it's the difference of when it's practical versus when it's a computer effect. See,
Mm,
like that,
damn.
that shot didn't look as good when it was like like backing up like that because you could tell it was CG there. But when it's up close, I think it actually looks pretty decent.
Yeah. And then fun fact about the actual kind of animatronic. So the Alien Queen was like had all this sophisticated animatronic stuff in there, and then it was twice as many moving parts as like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. So it was like
That's wild.
even more kind of a hugely sophisticated kind of animatronic there, with that kind of going on. So it's kind of a fun thing about that. What'd you think about? I mean, we mentioned like the human characters really aren't much there, and then I think with this upcoming Predator Badlands movie, I think this will be the first time. I think I discussed it with either you or Nick that it'd be the first time we actually get to hear the Predator actually talk. We don't actually ever hear the Predator talk. Not in this. It
No,
just
yeah,
most.
definitely not in this.
Yeah.
We did hear it in. We heard it in the animated movie from earlier this year.
Yeah.
But that's also brand new. So it's definitely a new thing as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. I mean, would that kind of like when you first saw the movie, that kind of weird you out that the Predator never just talked or said anything or even tried to mimic a language or.
I, you know, I don't. At least when it came out and I saw it as a kid, I don't think that even really crossed my mind, just because they never talked in any of the movies. So I just was like, yeah, that's just how they are. They don't communicate maybe in a traditional sense. I always thought maybe they had maybe it was like purely in like writing or something, or maybe they didn't speak in like a actual vocal language. Um, Obviously now we have a sense that they do, but yeah, I don't know. I just kind of took it as I don't know. It's an alien behaving in an alien like way. So
Yeah. Or maybe they're just deaf. Maybe they just,
that could
they
be. They
just
have
didn't.
no idea people are even speaking to them.
Yeah, maybe they're just that. Maybe you got some, disabled predator out there.
It's possible.
Um, have we ever seen like a female predator in a movie? It's got to be.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't know if we've ever seen a female predator in a
Maybe there
movie.
aren't any. I mean, look at their mouths. They've kind of already got, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They kind of have like these spider kind of mouths. I don't know. Maybe it's like really like spiders in real life. I don't know. Maybe there's a matriarch of the predator. Maybe the
Yeah.
female. I don't know. There's a big female predator. I don't know.
Or maybe
Uh,
they they reproduce like Kryptonians. And there's just like pod babies in like a big
Mm.
factory.
And they're shaped like dildos, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they had that. But yeah, and this is I mean, it's a quick movie. It's only like an hour and 48 minutes. It's not that
Yeah,
long at
that
all.
helps a lot because it's so schlocky. It's such a B movie, and it's so just like it clear. I think the movie clearly is like we just want to have these creatures fight each other. We know these characters aren't interesting, so I think it at least kind of understands what it is and is leaning into it.
Yeah, because at least like with Shania Lathan's character, for example, I mean, the way you introduce to her character, that's such like a early 2000s way back when they used to introduce characters. It seems
The
like
same scene as in the 2005 Fantastic Four movie with Johnny.
Yeah, everybody had to be doing something like sporty or extreme, like even in Mission Impossible 2, like he was climbing a mountain in that. In what was that movie? God, I just had it in my head that they opened Tomb Raider with Laura Croft. Now it kind of makes sense for people like that because you want to see them do that. I guess those are the type of the
Sure,
characters they are, but that just would seem like that's such a 2000s way to kind of introduce a character. Like you got to have them do something kind
very
of
tropey.
sporty, sporty like that. Did you like her character at all? Did you see anything
Um,
about her character that you like?
I mean, I guess I like that she is pragmatic about things, but I just don't feel like they develop her all that much. Like the actress is fine. I mean, she's not unlikable either, but I don't feel like we get to know her really on much of a level other than just like, hey, she's a good guide for dangerous terrain.
You know,
Almost everyone in this film feels like they're kind of just their jobs, more or
mm,
less.
yeah. And then there's like a little bit of a love kind of chemistry, love interest there with her and the Italian archaeologist guy.
He's good at
Um,
explaining things. I don't, you can't
I
blame her.
mean, yeah, he's good at explaining that. I mean, he don't last long. I mean, he's turning the xenomorph food there. And there's also something we get to see there because I was watching the movie. I was like, when are we going to get to see the creature actually latch on to the predator and
Mhm.
then birth a xenomorph from the predator there. But
Yep.
I was kind of disappointed when it kind of popped out because it just looked like a normal looking
It
xenomorph.
has it. You could tell it does have some things on the side of its mouth though, like that are.
Let let me take a
It's
look.
not like a huge difference, but it does have like the predators kind of like mouth pincers.
Yeah, let me take a look at the final scene there. Oh yeah, okay, I see what you're saying there.
And then in
Uh,
the second movie, which is now that's the one that's actually like abysmally terrible, is the second one. That one they a lot of the movie is spent trying to like fight this alien like half breed thing.
yeah, so this is the closing sequence right here, where you get to see it. So okay, so you can see, and then they're taking their dead guy, they're taking him back on the ship, and okay, you do see the pincers right there. Okay, yeah,
So
so
it does have the predator mouth a bit. And then like I mean yeah, like you said, the second movie you do see that thing or like that type of thing is like fully grown. And but also in like the comics, video games, you got like a bunch of use out of that design of like of what the full grown version looks like. So it's been used in a lot of stuff, honestly.
okay. I think I can't remember if I've seen the second movie or not. Maybe I blacked it out of my memory for my own protection.
That one is legitimately that bad. That is the worst film in both franchises, like hands down.
Really,
Yeah.
you hate it more than Prometheus?
It is worse than Prometheus.
Okay.
It's
Uh,
like the one movie that like for all the complaints I have about stuff like Prometheus and Romulus and Alien Resurrection and all that stuff, none of them are as bad as Alien versus Predator Requiem, and it won't matter. The movie's right about that.
Yeah. So what's the difference between this one and then the first one as far as
Well,
what makes the
the
first one
second
better?
one, which weirdly enough, the second one is rated R, which you'd think would at least allow it for to have some better action. But the action is terribly shot in the second film. Like you can't even see what's happening most of the time. Way too many like up close cuts. Like you can barely tell what the creatures are actually doing to each other most of the time you see them. And I mean, to be fair, it's been a little while since I've seen it, but I remember it really feeling like bad like teen slasher like teenager characters, like really annoying like slasher movie characters, and then And then also just I remember feeling like there wasn't enough time, like the balance of like again, this movie, this first one, it kind of knows what it is and it gets in and it shows you them fighting and then the movie's over. It's pretty and it gets out pretty quickly. The second one I remember being, and maybe it might not be longer, but I just remember like the balance of screen time dedicated to the people versus to the monsters fighting was like way more in favor of just the people being stupid.
Mm, okay, maybe I'll watch that next movie there. If they do a sequel to Badlands, maybe we'll do Alien versus Predator Requiem if they do a sequel to Badlands there. Um, but yeah, I mean, what are your final thoughts rating for Alien versus Predator?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, I don't think this is the worst film in the franchise or in either franchise. There's definitely some other stuff, the sequel being one of them that I think comes under this. But I mean, look, this isn't good. This is not like a good movie. But like I think it kind of understands that it's schlocky and that it is just a silly B movie, and so I think it's able to put its foot forward with the creatures and just the kind of fighting and some of that simple stuff. And again, that's not giving you a great movie, but it is at least self-aware enough in a way that like other ones are not. So I think I'd give it like just like a regular stream it like as like especially like on a streaming service if it's just like you want to sit down and watch kind of a brainless action movie. It's all right at being that. I don't think you're gonna be like miserable that you sat through it. I think you could get some all right moments out of it. As far as the characters, though, don't look for anything to be invested in because you're not going to get that. But if you just want to see some things fight each other, you could do worse.
Mm, okay. Yeah, I mean, if you just want to see the big thing of like Alien versus Predator and see both them kind of fight each other and team up there, um, then I guess it kind of pays that off. I mean, if that's what you just purely with, just like Freddy versus Jason. I mean, Freddy versus Jason, I laugh at Freddy versus Jason all the time, just in the humor of it, and kind of what's going on with that. This one I think has some humorous moments as well, especially with the way some of the characters die and the fact that they're being attacked from both sides of having the xenomorph plus the predator there. That's pretty entertaining. Then also some of the traps that the predator does, like when they're in the actual, pyramid there or the actual structure there. I think that's pretty great there. So you have that. Shania Lathan, I think, is decent for kind of what she's doing here. And it's rare you kind of see a woman, lead a sci-fi type of film of this nature. So that's also something to kind of remark at a little bit. And I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson, I mean, he does what Paul Thomas Anderson does. If you know his work there and are familiar with it, he kind of brings that same mentality here in this. Do I think it's one of the weakest of both the franchise? I mean, for as far as what I've seen, probably there just from us seeing both things there. Well, actually, no, I may hate this. I may hate this less than the Predator. I don't like the Predator. Sean Blake is such a disappointment. That 2017 one is really bad to me.
I enjoyed that as a comedy film, but that's not really what you want out of a Predator film.
I mean, it's not. I don't even think it even works as a comedy because it's like that's what you at least.
Oh, I was crying laughing at that film.
Yeah. But maybe I may actually like it more than that movie.
I'll tell you, I think this is better than Romulus that came out last year.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you don't really like Romulus. I don't.
I hate Romulus.
I don't mind Romulus. I think Romulus is okay. But yeah, I just think it's all right. I mean, it's a lot of memories in Romulus. There's a lot of that kind of going on. But yeah, I just kind of give it a lowish streaming. I think that's fine for Alien vs Predator there, for kind of what it is. Yeah, I mean, this movie doesn't matter in the lore or context. I mean, it's completely
No,
just
it's making up a bunch of its own. I mean, look at that shot right there.
yeah. So it just is kind of doing it's really its own thing there with it. Do you know why there wasn't a third movie there of this?
I mean, I think it's because that second one just bombed and everyone said it was abysmal dog shit. I think they were just like, oh well, maybe we shouldn't make another one of these.
Let's see here. So it says, I don't know, maybe this is from the Wikipedia here. So it says, Alien vs. Predator Requiem here says the film received generally negative reviews from critics for its poor lighting, editing, and lack of originality. It grossed 130.2 million worldwide against a production budget of 40 million. Plans for another sequel were abandoned with further independent entries in both franchises released in 2010 and 2012 respectively. And
Gotcha.
2010 was when you had Predators, which was the Robert Rodriguez, which I love that movie a lot. I actually love
Ooh,
Predators a lot.
yeah, that's another one. I actually would prefer this over that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Predators over this.
No,
Yeah.
no, the other way around.
Really? You don't like Predators? Like,
No, I that was another one. I walked out of the theater like pissed. I even spent money seeing it.
wow, I really like Predator. I really like the whole idea of what they did to bring the people to the Predator planet and everything like that. I kind
I
of
was
like that.
excited about all those concepts going in, and then the execution just didn't do it for me.
Yeah. And then 2012 was, of course, Prometheus, which was 2012. They had
I also think this Alien versus Predator movie is better than Prometheus.
yeah, so you had that one. So that was also they did independent. Now they're joining back together again. Even though this is still Predator, there's still the Alien isn't
Yeah,
included in the
I think
title.
they're building up to a crossover.
Yeah, they're building up to the movie there. With that kind of going.
Aliens versus Predators. Will that be the title?
Yeah, they try to differentiate. Yeah, that'd be the true standalone there. So maybe they're gonna build up to it. But right now, as it stands, Predator, I think maybe has better movies than Alien.
I've liked the last two in a row, and I can't say that for Alien.
Yeah, like Prey is really good. I really like Prey.
And
And
the Killer of Killers animated movie, I was like, oh yeah, no, that was I thought really good too.
yeah, that was also really good too. I like that one too. So you had two really good ones back to back, and then with yeah, Alien, it's been Romulus, and then what was the latest one there?
It was Romulus, Covenant, Prometheus,
Yeah,
and then before that it was Alien Resurrection and Alien 3, which I mean, again, outside of those first two movies, I mean, none of these movies are particularly great.
well, you like the show, so you like the show.
The show, I think I think the show was good, but as far as just like the film side of things, Alien hasn't had like an overall good entry. I might like an element or two, in a movie, but like as an overall product, I don't think there's been a great movie in the franchise since two.
Yeah, yeah, I think I agree with that. Great one, yeah, probably, yeah. Predator,
There's maybe been some
Alien.
moments. Again, I like the David character, even though I don't like the rest of the movies that he's in. But that's just one character, and that's only so much screen time out of a bunch of other things that irritate me to no end.
Yeah. So that was our review. Alien vs Predator, 2 streamings for it. You got that. So